Toshidele to everyone, to the Tibetan Grammar class on the commentary of 30, The Tree of Excellent Speech by Yangchen Drubpay. And today we're going to discuss the particle of te. And in today's class, as you can observe, that we're only going to discuss the two usage cases that are directly stated in the Tree of Excellent Speech, but there are more usage cases according to the 30. But we will discuss those other usage cases which are directly stated in 30 or properly differentiated in 30 in the next class. In this class, we'll try to understand the usage case as the pronoun that, which is for an immediate term, and the pronoun it. So tanye dema thakpa tang namjang shinje. So two of these. So before we go to the actual lesson, let us begin with the verse of dedication. So first, as we all know, is the line of dedication. So today we are dedicating to the Great Mother Saraswati. Yum chemo Yangchen hame shab pemar chatsello. So you can say pemor or pemar. So which means I prostrate to your lotus feet, O Great Mother, O Great Mother Saraswati. So this particular line is our line of taking refuge. Now the verse. Tön sangme singnam töbana sem devar deve rabduki ni öster choni tamche kyong je yangda sonam sowarche nasim ki number sikim so chirjikde siki malako tön namya teda sambana sem devar songwe tabsheyin. So let me recite this once more. Yum Yangchen hamisha pemar chatselno. Tön sangme tsinam töbana sem devar deve rabduki ni höser chokini hamje kyong je yangda sonam sowarche. Nasim ki number tsikim cho chirjik den tsiki malako tön namya teda sambana sem devar songve tabsheyin. So the translation, I prostrate to you, O Great Mother Saraswati. Upon hearing a word with great meanings, great joy and happiness arises. The excellent rays of sun sustains everything. With the perfect fruits sustain life. Words are the representation of one's mind. The universe is a system of words designated. To remind oneself of this is a method for the mind to become happier. Okay, so with this verse of dedication, let us begin our class today on the particle of te. So, lekshe jongale. Mingi tome tedani, tanye dema tabatan, namjang shinchen ni lechu. From the Tree of Excellent Speech, the particle of te is used before a name, and it is used in two cases as a pronoun. The pronoun that for immediate term, and the pronoun it. So to understand what does it mean when we say the immediate term, if we check here, it states that the immediate term a term which is used in the preceding statement. It is the object of a statement in the preceding statement. So it's the object of a statement which is stated in the previous statement. And so the immediate term refers to that particular object or the term which is the object of the statement in the preceding statement. So, for example, if we say, 这是你们要不约. So let me just write it here. So, 这是你们要不喜悦. Koni gemba namla ropa kebar kapoyo. So in this particular statement, we see that the in here we see that we have Tashi, which is a good person, which stated that Tashi is the good person. And here we see that Tashi is the term in this particular statement, which is substituted by this personal pronoun. Here it is the personal pronoun, so it should be understood as personal pronoun because it's Tashi. But when we use te, normally we use it for an object. So ka sang nge hep shi hong son he nyoru droya or dogyu in kasang nge hep shi hong son he nyoru dogyu in. So we see that in this particular case, it is the book which has been seen. So we see that in this preceding statement, we have tep. And so we use the particle te in place of this tep in the immediate next statement. So we see that it substitutes tep, which is the immediate term, the term that is stated in the preceding statement. So the statement that precedes this statement is kasangye tep shi tongsung. So this tep is the immediate term, and it is substituted by te. So this is the meaning of the term immediate. This is the meaning of the term immediate term, an object or a term which is stated in the preceding statement. And so for that type of statement, we are using the pronoun that. So sort of like understanding the concept of the concept of the pronoun and its particular antecedent. So in this case, we see that it is in the preceding statement. And so the pronoun substitutes this in the later statement. So this is the immediate term. Now, tete teni. So this is the verse here. Tete teni mingi tome tanye. Tema Tawatang, Tanya Namjang Shinji, Nibola Chuko. Deje Tsikche ni, Mingi Tome, Tanya Tema Tawatang, Tanya Namjang Shinji, Nibola Chuko. So we see that the particle of day. So here this line, it means that the particle of day functions as the pronoun that for immediate term. So Tanye tema thakpa. So now we try to understand what does this mean. Tanye means term. De tema thakpa means something that has just a moment ago, or something that passed just before this. Something that has already completed, something that has already been completed, something that has already occurred just a moment ago. Ame, pöbe, or pöma tatu, nang tu lo. So here instead of demata, is the demata is the statement that says something that has something, and a verb that has already something, that an action that has just ended, just been completed. And instead of that, here what I have done is that instead of the term de, I have used the past form of calling someone. So just as ame pema tatu nang tulo, just as the mother called, I returned home. So we see that the moment the mother called, the very moment after the mother has called, the second action has followed. So similarly, tanye dematang means that has just been stated, or has been stated just before this. And then when we say just before this, we refer to the preceding statement. Just like in the case of kasang ye tepshi honsong, te nyoru drogyuyin, in which tep is the term that has just been stated. Or in case of tashini mi yagushire, honi gemba namla rokwa chebar kaboyu, in which we see that the immediate term is tashi. So demata, the term demata, tanye demata, means a term that has already, that has just passed, was just stated, was just written, or was just said. So we can use this. This is with ma tak, this one. It means momentarily before, something that has happened. Or if you want to say this with something else, it means the moment something was done. For example, you can say, lobtar chimata tu, lobtar chimata tu, lobtar chimata tu, charpa pap. So the rain started falling. The moment the rain started falling, the moment I went to school. So we see that the usage of this particular thing, this particular phrase, ma tak, with a past action, what it indicates that the moment when the past action was completed, just the moment after the past action was completed. And similarly, we have Temata. So we have temata, tanye temata, tanye, which means term. Temata means that has completed, that has been stated. A term that has been stated, a term that has been already stated. So therefore, we understand that the meaning of the word tanye temata or tanye tematakpa. Pa is the possessive particle, which tells us that the term that has already been, or the term that has been momentarily ago being stated in the preceding statement. So the particle of te functions as the pronoun that for immediate term, which refers to the immediate term discussed in the preceding statement, and namzhang tanye namzhang xianqian nipo le zhuko, and also for the pronoun it, which is used as a pronoun for in place of the actual name. So 대단히 줘봐 nga tanye tema tabe tsabdu pechu cheba la juki yu. The particle of te functions as the pronoun that for immediate term, the term that was discussed in the preceding statement, which was stated in the preceding statement, used in previous statement. So, which is used or discussed or stated in the previous statement, preceding statement. Perna, nge khasang pyoge lengme tevshi nyoba yi. Teni hajang ko debotu. So, let me repeat this. Nge khasang pyoge lengme tevshi nyoba yi. Teni hajang ko debotu. So, yesterday I purchased a book on Tibetan conversations that is very easy to understand. So we see here we have the particle that, and we see that we have used that in place of the book on Tibetan conversation. So we have used that in place of the book on Tibetan conversation. So the immediate term here is the book on Tibetan conversations, and it was replaced by that, the pronoun that, which is te. Okay, so example statements of the pronoun that. Okay, so Tering shokpa chomla lam chaji tongsong. Inyang te nge kangbe chechung la rongwar mindu. Let me read this again. Tering shokpa chomla lam chaji tongsong. Inyang te nge kangbe chechung la rongwar mindu. Okay. So here in this statement, it says that this morning I saw a pair of shoes at the market, but it was not suitable for the size of my feet, meaning that they didn't have, in a way, inferentially, it's saying that they didn't have my size. They didn't have that in my size. So we understand that here we are using that in place of the immediate term, that is tham chachik. So if we want to be more generous with the description, so it is the pair of shoes that we saw at the market. So we're using that in place of the pair of shoes that we saw in the market. So te represents the pair of shoes that we saw in the market, and this becomes tanye tematawa. If you want to be very specific, you can just say tam chachik, and that would be it. It means a pair of shoes. But if you want to be more generous with the explanation, then you can also give the extra explanation that the pair of shoes at the market. So this provides more description. Second one, Kasan gen la ki peti tela nyen ba yin. Tela kong ki denshi to song song. Kasan gen la ki peti tela nyen ba yin. Tela kong ki denshi to song song. So yesterday I was listening to the recording, or yesterday I was listening to the scripture teaching of my teacher. And in that, meaning that when we say in that, meaning that during the teaching, in that, he taught about the Four Noble Truth, or the Four Truth, or Four Noble Truth. So here we understand that the immediate term is Gyala Kipiti, meaning the teaching, the scripture teaching of the teacher, or the scripture teaching given by the teacher or of the teacher. So we're using that for the immediate term, that is the scripture teaching of the teacher. Gyala Kipiti. Now, nye payu ni targe kumbala re. Nye payu ni targe kumbala re. Or if you want to pronounce it in the regional dialect from my village, that will be tarje komba. So instead of targe, it will be tarje komba. So nye payu ni targe komba la yire. Teni kanze zona yu. Nye payu ni tarje komba la yu. Tarje komba la re. Teni kanze zona yu. It means my hometown or my fatherland or my village is Targe Kompa. That now referring to Targe Kompa, which is Taje Kompa, which is the name of the place. That is in the district Kanse or Karse. So it's in the district Karse. So we see that here the immediate term is the name of the place, Taje Kempa or Targe Kompa. And it is being substituted by te. Okay, so nye payu ni taje gemba la re. Teni kanze zona yu. So we see that in this particular statement, we have the first, we have the immediate term, that is taje gemba or targe gomba, and the particle that substitutes this is te. Okay, so Tanye namchang shenjian la teda juki yu. The particle of te functions as the pronoun it. So Tanye namchang shenjian la teda juki yu. The particle of te functions as the pronoun it. Now we must understand when we say it here, what happens is that this it, what it does is that it is used in place of the actual term or actual name that of the object. So instead of using the actual name, this is used as an alternative to that actual name. So 显见, namchang 显见, namchang 显见 means different variation. So instead of using tanya namchang 显见 means same, it means it refers to the same object, but It refers to the same object, but now it is substituting. It is used in place of that same name or same name that refers to the same object. Penna. Tela chuluk tabu perjue natu. Tetani tanye ngu means actual term. Medo sabdu perjue cheyue. Penna. Tela chulu tabu perjue natu. Tetani tanye ngu medo sabdu perjue che or perjue chekiyo or perjue cheyue. Now, for example, statement like pour water in it is a statement that uses the particle te as the pronoun it instead of the actual term that is flour. So instead of the actual term flour, we're using the pronoun it. So saying pour water in it instead of saying pour water in the flour or pour water in flour. So usually we can say meto nato meto la chulu, which means pour water in flour. But now when we say te la chulu, pour water in it, so we see that it is substituting flour. It is substituting the term, the actual term flour. Okay, so example statement of the pronoun it. Actual term I have seen it, which means I have seen it. And then the actual term here is tamgu, a drama, meaning that a drama. So I have already seen this drama. So here we understand that when we say it means that I have seen it. And when we refer to it, it is referring to a drama that has been seen. But this definitely depends on what type of conversation you were having before you said if it was about a movie, so definitely te is used in place of movie. I have been there. So here it's there because of the place. It has to do with the place. So I have been there. Sachashik means a place. So the particular particle is used for a place. Te samlo kormason. I didn't think about that, or I didn't think about it. So it here, you can see, refers to a particular thought that might come to the brain, to the mind, a particular thought that might come to the mind. Te samlo kormason. I didn't thought of it. I didn't thought of it. So in this case, we understand that te or it is used for a particular idea or thought. So these are the two usage cases. So you see, these are the two usage cases which are directly stated in the tree of excellent speech. The first one is usage in place of an immediate term. Immediate term meaning a term that has already been stated in the preceding statement. The second one being used as pronoun it as an alternative term. So here as a pronoun, an alternative term for the actual term. So instead of flower, you just say it. Instead of movie, you just say it. So you're using it in place of that particular statement. So these are the two usage cases that is directly stated in the tree of excellent speech. But definitely, in the next class, we will be discussing about other usage cases which are directly stated in the 30, but are not differentiated very well in the tree of excellent speech. So tomorrow's class, the next class, when we will discuss about these things, very important to understand that these are not inferential usage case like the ones we discussed for most of the particles. These are usage cases which were not very well differentiated in tree of excellent speech, but are very well differentiated and discussed in 30. So that should be the difference between a usage case that has not been well differentiated or well differentiated or classified, and a usage case which is inferential. Inferential usage case is a very different kind of group. So the one that we are going to discuss during the next class is not an inferential usage case. It is simply a usage case that has not been well differentiated in the tree of excellent speech, but will be discussed thoroughly. In the other commentaries of the tree of excellent speech. So that would be the topic of our lesson during the next class. So this is it for today. Before we go to the verse. So today's class, as you have observed, was relatively shorter, and it was because of the direct usage cases stated in 3 of excellent speech was not that much in elaboration, but we will discuss those. So do we have questions, Lasso? Does the difference between these 2 cases consist in for that versus shuk for it, preceding reference? So if you're saying that, if you're asking the question between having a being used for an immediate term which is directly stated in the statement, like the one during that, where we see that where we have observed that the particle is used for an immediate term that has been stated in a preceding statement. Whereas in this particular case, which is namtang shinche, in which we infer that it is, like you said, it is inferential, that it means the flower. Yes, that is something we can agree upon, but we must also understand that because it is inferential in this case, will not justify saying that inferential term is the immediate case, because it is not. It is just an alternate. It is the actual term to which the pronoun has been used as an alternative. So yes, one is the second one is more inferential in understanding what it substitutes. You have to look at the statement, or you have to look at the statement related to the statement to understand what it actually means. Whereas the other one is because the very object that needs to be substituted is already stated as the immediate term. There is no need to speculate or infer what this particular pronoun is substituting. So yes, one is more direct and other is more inferential. Lasso. Do we have any more questions? Also page 7. Miki Tong. It's Mingi told me. So yes, thank you. Yes, it's Mingi told me. Let me just so one reason why I also prefer to do it in the not in the full screen is because I cannot edit. I don't know why I cannot edit it in the full screen, but I just don't seem to be able to edit it in the full screen. So that's the reason I keep it like this, because sometimes I just have to add examples. Yes, thank you very much. This is Mingye Tome. And yes, do we have any more questions regarding today's lesson?
Yes, can
So,
the example of the Betty, that
which one?
example,
This one?
Betty.
PT, yes.
Yeah, this one. So Betty did the first day and the second day, is it both is the Dematakpa? Tanin Dematakpa?
Yes, both of these can in this case we can say that both of these are used as not these, but PT is the Tanya Dema Taupa for both of this. So it is the Tanya Dema Taupa for both of the te.
So does
but
it
but
mean
we
that?
must yes, I'm very sorry. Let's go on.
Gongda.
Let me interrupt you a little bit. So this first te is non-essential, meaning that I can do without this te. Meaning that it is something that not exactly adds much of a meaning to the particular statement, but it's something that sometimes adds to the number of words that you're writing in the statement. So this is non-essential, even though this tanya tema thakba peti the khasang gen la ki peti thela nyen bahin and khasang gen la ki peti la nyen bahin, quite similar. It's quite similar. It's like yesterday I listened to that teaching of the teacher, or yesterday I listened to the teaching of the teacher. So difference is that and this. But in the more, when it comes to understanding in the context of conveying message here, we can say that this is not that much of an essential part. It's more non-essential here. So we can do without this. So we can say, la ki peti la te la ki. So we can just directly go to te, or the second te, and then simply not write the first te. If it's in a way, it might create a little bit of confusion. So yes.
And again, like if for the first example, yin yang lam de nge kang bei che chung rung wa mi du. So is it, can I use like yin yang lam de? Is it the same meaning?
Yin yang tham te. Yes, you can say tham te. Tham chachi. Yin yang tham te. Yes, you can use yin yang tham te.
So it's still dema takpa.
Yes, it's still tema tapa. In which case, the repetition of tham becomes non-essential here.
So does it mean that Namtran Shinchen is like one statement stand alone, and Dema Tapa is like with two statements together?
Yes, because it is a statement which in a way it depends on the preceding statement. So whereas the second one, we see that it's a standalone statement. And
so
yes.
So for these instances, the Peche Sumba Kisi this first statement, if I omit it, then Kaze Chung Nang Yue. So if I just put this statement, does it change to Namtan Shinchin?
It is in so you're saying it is when if you say it is in Karzen Song, right?
If I don't write the first statement.
If we don't write this and we just write right? If you say like this.
Yes. So does it change to?
Yes, because then this will not have any Tanya Tema Tapa. So it has to be Namran Shinche. Lasso. Okay, so do we have any questions? Any more questions? And yes, definitely you can also ask questions in the group. Like I said, it's almost always it's always appreciated when you ask questions in the group. Sometimes I may take time answering it, but definitely I will answer to those questions. And sometimes it will take answer for me to give answer because I'll have to find some relevant answer to that instead of just putting up my opinion. For some more theoretical questions, I have to search for things that becomes a strong evidence to my statement. So in those times, please understand that it will take a little time sometimes to find an exact and proper reference. But in most cases, I try to answer the question as quick as possible. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the grammar or directly to me, or in the channel, or directly to me. So you mean the difference between the two functions? The functions. So the difference is that in one case, you have the immediate term, but in the other case, you just use it as an alternative for a term that you actually know. It may be due to some context. It may not. The difference is that in one term, in one usage, the actual term is used as immediate term. But in the other, even if you refer to other statement, there is no mention of the actual term there. So that should be the difference between these two. So just by the name, we understand that one is used for if you're talking about function as substituting as pronoun, that is not the main purpose of this. It is substituting, but for what? The question is for what? And here it is not important to understand the nature of the pronoun, but rather what that pronoun is used in place of. The first one is used in place for an immediate term, meaning that the criteria tells us that there should be the actual term as an immediate term. The second one, it tells us that there is no need for immediate term. It substitutes an actual term, and it does so without any mentioning of that actual term. Why do we use it? Because we simply don't want to use the actual term. So the criteria to differentiate should be the presence of the actual term usage. In first case, you have the actual term. In second case, you don't have the actual term. You simply have that pronoun, which is used as an alternative. So nam张显介, which means an alternative, a variation. So it brings out variation. The first one is reference to the first one for the immediate term. The second one is a variation to an actual term. So that is the difference. So I hope this clarifies it. But yes, if you go on trying to find the difference in the nature of the pronoun, then I think that both of them just does, even the second one, I've said it, but depending on the particular actual term, it might become there. So, or sometimes that too. So therefore, the main focus is not the nature of pronoun. The main focus is what does it substitute for. So yes, I hope this clarifies it. Make sure, if not, then make sure to follow up the question with questions, and I'll try to answer that. Most appreciative if in the group, because then I can write. Lasso. So I think, do we have anyone who wants to recite today? Do we have anyone who wants to recite the fourth portion of the tree of excellent speech, who is feeling like today I want to do it? So does anyone wants to try? Does anyone wants to try reading the fourth portion of tree of excellent speech? No one? So no one. Okay, so if there's no one, then Svetala would like to try all four. Lasso.
Ulamatan, gon pucetul, gentimială ce om arapăpănanii. Înciucâi, din gol de ce gentimială puce, gelașcă, gentimială pe. Namu guru manzugoșa ea, la maciot în viernice, gentimială cu tine, Tom milek și sunciucâi. După Dorje și părdea, Yangchen se spăru, ce pe i o și, stăcicatul cuciui, canatana pama a, Ralasana Mjinjuk Chu, Tatan Sani Yanjukte, Saninara Vasusan, Sanikana Pamatop, Katapama. Sanikana Pamatop, Katapama Anyanjuk, Konotona Pumupo, Rolosoto Vatuden, Ducturile lui Cekenja, Sachieta Sănion, și înainte de tunja. Sura Rutu Nalatu, Lajon nam pădun ilipie, nam nici din Catan, te este că n-am văzut. S-a sugat bătrăcălții, nata n-am ara vădu, atantani ratan ru. Titi nina po, nam e drup pădrăgătam, te n-am sată ce nămi, nam e supă ce drapea. Giorțul n-am ara lăsi, ca pasasi cananti, atantani, ican i. Yangchen an sunkendude, kata pasta traktatyan, nana mara latayan, atantani antanyan. Tete tesum flakchite, nara lasa traktate, tate dana pama a, kamien nam lastate top. Cam nam tam nam pamam am, rămăsăm pe ce video. Giorțu, lardu, captan su. Giorțu, lardu, captan su. Araru i anien nam, cantoni contonite, au anticonditec, vietam iocan, deși i. Mele juntum cardede, juntum caz, lucrul la cancertu, rictum carne mitum e, dula nedră, goana juc. Chetam cai pădrăte, sau terminti tocmai do.
Lasso, thank you very much, Svetala, for reciting. Okay, now let me conclude the lesson for today with the final recitation of the verse. Lasso, Yigdu Tsoki Tönamta Rerer Yangda Chuparna Tönam Mombar Rapselne Momba Yangda Selve Tap Yigdu Tsoki Tönamta Rerer Yangda Chuparna Tönam Mombar Rapselne Momba Yangda Selve Tap. Okay, so the states meaning itself arises from the union of words. If each word most excellently follows another, all the meanings become clear. It is the method to excellently clear the ignorance or dispel or clear the ignorance. Okay, so with this, we have finished today's lesson most wonderfully. Thank you very much for everyone who have participated. And I hope that this lesson was as beneficial to you as it was to me. And thank you very much for everyone who have asked questions as well as recitation, and the participants. I wish every one of you a wonderful morning, evening, day, and night, wherever you are. Please recite, please memorize, and please revise. And if you have any question, please ask it to me, and I'll try to answer to them as quick as possible. Assignments will be posted. So Tashitali to everyone, and I will see every one of you for the next class. Next class, we're going to do continuation of the same particle, but with more usage cases from the 30. That's so.